Hi year ones! I'm going to show you an example of how to solve a division question, or as I like to call it, a sharing and caring question. Okay, so for parents and carers, we haven't actually covered this in class yet, so this is a brand new idea. In year one, we don't focus really on recording it as number sentences or really using that division sign. It's really just getting that concept about sharing an amount between something, and also looking at halves and quarters. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I would work out a simple division or sharing question. And as I always say to the children, I'm sure you will know, if in doubt, draw it out. And if you're going to draw it out, please make sure that you always draw it out super duper neatly. Okay, here we go. Okay, so my question is that the Easter Bunny has 8 Easter eggs. So I'm just going to put at the top here my altogether number is 8. Okay, so I need to remember that altogether I have 8 things. So I've made a little note to help me remember. The Easter Bunny has 8 eggs and it's going to share it between 4 children. So I'm going to draw them. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not going to spend lots of time drawing the children because that would make me distracted and I would forget what I was doing. So I've just drawn my 4 children. So the Easter Bunny has 8 Easter eggs and it's going to share them between 4 children. So now I'm going to do it because if in doubt, draw it out. Share 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I've shared it nice and neatly, made sure that I've not squashed my dots together. Okay, I've also made sure that I've not done this, which is a very common misconception, which is to give each child 8. Okay, I've not done that. Okay, because my altogether number is 8. So I need to make sure that at the end of the day, altogether, there is only 8 Easter eggs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I end up with more Easter eggs than my altogether number 8, then I have not done this right. Okay, so I've shared my 8 between my 4 children. So now what I need to do is find out how much they have each. Okay, so this one has 2. You have 2. You have 2. And you have 2. So how many do they have each? They each have 2. Okay, so if you wanted to record that as a number sentence, you could write it like this. 8 Easter eggs shared between 4 children equals 2 each. Okay, does that sound good? Does that sound super duper easy? I'm sure it is. The number one thing to remember when you are sharing is that your altogether number, you can't make it bigger. Okay, if you end up with more than your altogether number, then you've made a mistake. The other thing to remember is that you know you've shared it fairly when everybody has the same amount. So none of these children are going to fall out with each other because somebody has got more than them. Okay, so if in doubt, draw it out. Okay, bye year ones. Okay, next step then is to have a look at halves and quarters. Okay, so far all we've really looked at in class is we've looked at shapes. So I know that my circle is cut in half when it is cut into 2 equal pieces. So it's been cut into 2 pieces that are the same size. So if this was a pizza, I know that I've halved it fairly, because if I ate that half and you ate that half, we wouldn't end up getting into a fight about it because we've had the same amount. Okay, we've not really looked at quarters yet, but for quarters it's about taking that shape and splitting it into 4 equal pieces. So each piece is the same size and the same shape. If you wanted to investigate this further, this would be a really, really good time to pause the video, to cut out lots of different shapes for your child, to cut into halves and into quarters. So for example, cutting a rectangle, cutting squares, and trying to halve different bits of maybe dinner, maybe helping you serve up the lasagna, making sure that everybody gets a quarter, and thinking about how it has to be the same size and therefore the same amount. Okay? In terms of halving and quartering amounts, as in amounts of coins or money or counters, I still like to use the shapes to help me remember. Okay, so you can carry on, you can use the same method as what I've just shown you, as in halving it between 2 children or quartering it between 4 children, but just to really drill in that halving an amount is the same as halving a shape, I like to still draw the picture. So, say for example, the Easter Bunny has 10 Easter eggs and he wants to give half to me and half to Mrs. Bailey. Then what I will do is I will draw my circle and cut it in half. My altogether number is still 10, so I'm still going to make that reminder to myself. This is Mrs. Bailey, this is Mrs. Golding's half, okay, and just like before, I'm going to share that number 10 fairly between the 2 halves. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mrs. Bailey's half is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mrs. Golding's half is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Have we got the same number? Yep. Have I shared it fairly? Yep. Okay, so half of 10 is 5. 10 shared between 2, because halving is about splitting something into 2 equal parts. So 10 shared between 2, or half of 10, gives us 5 each. Okay. Oops. Just realised I just went straight off the screen there. Sorry, guys. Okay, so there's my example of working that out. Okay, and I do exactly the same thing if I was quartering a number. So say, for example, I had 8 Easter eggs and I needed to share them between 4 children. Let's go with Ariana, Dorian, Noah and Zainab. I had to share my 8 Easter eggs out between those 4 children. Again, my altogether number is 8 and I'm going to share it fairly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, Ariana has 2, Dorian has 2, Noah has 2, Zainab has 2. Okay, I've shared it out fairly. They've all got the same amount. So a quarter of 8 is 2. So 8 shared between 4, because quartering is about sharing something into 4 equal groups. 8 shared between 4 means that we have 2 each. Okay, so there's a little bit of a close-up of my quartering, a little reminder of both of them. Okay, so I hope that helps, and don't forget that with any of these things, if in doubt, draw it out. But even drawing it out could be too tricky, so you might even need to scale it back and go right back to just giving the practical amount, so giving 10 pennies and splitting it in half, splitting the pile into 2 equal piles. Giving out 8 pennies and splitting the piles into 4 equal piles. Okay, so the first step really is to try and do it practically, and then the next step is this recording. So don't worry if the recording is a little bit tricky, you can do it practically too. Okay, bye.